Hello boys and girls. So the point of this tutorial is to just give you a few tips on finding answers for the documents in the text that you're supposed to read. So this document is the latest document and it's asked you to find information in the text in the online textbook. So here are all the directions to get to the page that you need to read, which I'm not going to go over here. My particular point here is to deal with the questions. So, it's asking you to read Lesson 3.1, Philip of Macedonia. And it's giving you in bold down here a title, Young Alexander, and it says subtitled section. And if I go to the book, you can see here's 3.1, Philip of Macedonia, and it's asking, and here is the subtitled section, Young Alexander. So, the answers to this question can be found in that particular section and only in that particular section. Now, some questions are going to be different than others. This one requires you to pull out, so to speak, 4 different answers out of this particular section, Young Alexander. Now, if there's 4 different answers, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4, 5 different paragraphs here. Usually one paragraph will deal with one particular topic. So it may be that the 4 answers, you can find one in one paragraph, a second in another, a third in another, and the fourth in another. That's not necessarily true all the time. So maybe it takes reading a paragraph very closely to find one of those 4 answers. So in other words, the answer may be kind of, in a sense, hidden in the paragraph. Okay? But not too hard to find. Okay? So that's one way a question may be framed. So if I scroll down, it's asking me to go to 3.2, Biography of Alexander the Great. Okay? So I'll go back to the textbook. This is the page turner, so to speak. I go to the next page. Here it is, 3.2, Alexander the Great. Now, if I go back to the document, here is my subtitled section, Alexander the Great, and I call it an introduction section. And in this one, kind of gives a brief description, but it uses the word unties, okay? And it's in quotations. So another hint or guide you may use is, are there words being used in the question which are also used in the text? So, here's the subtitled section, Alexander the Great. Here's the word untie, a form of the word unties, right? So, that's another way of trying to find out, well, where's the answer within this short little paragraph or text? So, if I went to the next section, which is called Alexander's Triumphs, I can see in my textbook that subtitle section is right here. So therefore the answer to that question would be in one of these paragraphs all the way over to here. And it says here, remember to read these carefully, it says the first paragraph can be summarized into one thought by taking a phrase from the paragraph. What is that phrase? So I am just looking right here at this paragraph for that answer. So my work here is to read this paragraph and to say, well, what's the big idea in this paragraph? What's it all talking about? And it's asking me to find a phrase in this paragraph that kind of sums up that big idea. So that's another particular way of finding an answer. I want to point out one other thing. Sometimes answers are right there. They're maybe in a sentence, or they only require like a word. So it says here, this is a good example here. The subtitled section is called Alexander's Death. And if I go to the textbook, here's Alexander's Death. So the answer is going to be in this paragraph. Alright, it says how and where does he die? That's 2 different things. How and where. So it requires 2 different answers, so to speak, or at least 2 different words. So if I go back to the textbook, I would need to find a place and how he died. Okay, and you might look for the word died, which is right here. So that is more of a straightforward answer, easier to find, no doubt. And sometimes the questions are going to be really challenging. For instance, I think some of these, well, I'm not so sure these map questions are that challenging, but here's a challenging question. I'm not going to get into this question right now. So one other thing I want to point out in the textbook, remember you have the audio version. If you click on this, it'll read all the text to you. Okay? This MT modifies the text. It changes the wording a little bit in case you're having difficulty with particular words. Okay? If you choose the modified text and then want it to play audio, the audio will not play the modified text. It'll only play the original text. So, think of those things. What is the question asking for? Is it asking for one or two different things? What section is it referring to? What subtitled section is it referring to? Are there words in the question which I can find in the text that'll kind of direct me to where the answer might be in a particular paragraph? And that's it, I guess. Good luck. Mr. Broad, over and out.